Roofing isn't sexy. And many businesses don't think that their products or services are sexy. And so they have a difficult time understanding how to create content that is compelling. And to this, I say, you need to understand that it's not all about you or your products or your services. And as well, creativity has made the most boring and uninteresting things very compelling. Let's start with number one. You're joining the social revolution because you want to get involved in the conversation. That's an objective of our strategy. And of course, you want to gain some business, generate some revenue from using these tools. But let's compare joining a social network to joining the local Chamber of Commerce. If you walk into a Chamber of Commerce meeting wearing your roofing clothes, the clothes that you wear while you're out there putting a roof on, not too many people are going to hang out with you. And pretty quick, people will be starting to avoid you, because if you're wearing those clothes and you're talking about your roofing business all the time, you're passing out your business cards trying to get roofing business, people are going to try to avoid you when they go to chamber meetings. And it won't be real long that you'll end up quitting that Chamber of Commerce and you'll claim that it didn't work for you. That's because you're trying to sell your roofing business and you're looking like a roofer in a Chamber of Commerce environment. Let's consider a different approach. Let's join the Chamber of Commerce knowing that every member in the chamber has a roof, and that there will come a time when every member will need a roof repair or a replacement. We already know that, so we're going to join the chamber with that in mind. Now, you've been in business for 15 years. You've weathered lots of storms. You need to know that many of the younger chamber members could use your mentorship. As well, there are leadership groups within the chamber, and your experience fits right into one of those groups. So you get involved and you start to lend a hand and you begin to make a difference. Because remember, your task is to build trust in the chamber members. You're trying to reinforce your reputation, the reputation you've earned over the last 15 years. And through these relationships, you'll begin to influence people to approach you when they have a need. And you will never have to sell them a thing. Your involvement and your reputation and the trust that you build will pull people to you. Now, the same holds true. That entire story holds true in social networking. If you want to join a network, what you want to do is get involved in the conversation. You want to lend a hand. You want to become helpful. You want to be known as a reliable source for information. You want to begin to build trust and reinforce your reputation and work toward being approachable so that people will approach you when their roof caves in. That's what you're trying to accomplish. You pull them toward you instead of you intruding in their space. Let me tell you this. As a past board member and vice chairman of a local chamber of commerce here in Nashville, I have sold the benefits of chamber membership by telling this simple story many times. And it's a classic example of full marketing in a network. It just happens to have occurred in a chamber environment. I met a lady at the chamber several years ago, and we chatted at many chamber functions. We helped each other connect with different business environments. And I knew her work because she worked for some sort of national association. Didn't really know all the details, but I just knew that it was a national association of something. And she knew me because we were a leading provider of message on hold service, but I never tried to sell her anything. We both were a part of the membership committee, and so we had a common bond, and we knew that both of us had a common bond in helping to grow the chamber and make it better. At a breakfast meeting about 10 years ago, she casually mentioned to me that her association may be looking for a message on hold vendor. and we exchanged business cards for the first time at that breakfast. We'd probably known each other for 3 or 4 years, never handed each other a business card. After 10 years, that was 10 years ago, after 10 years, her association has become one of our top 20 largest accounts. She trusted me, and she knew that my actions were to help, and she knew that I cared and that I wanted to help. And she needed a vendor with these characteristics. Guess where she looked? I didn't try to sell her anything. She just looked at my actions. So my point is, it's not all about you, and it's not all about your products or your services. It's important for you to get involved, to build trust and reinforce your reputation. Now again, going back to our strategy, we realize in order to do that, we need to develop or create compelling content. Sometimes that's a very important part of the process. It's also important to position yourself as an expert in your field. Let's look at some examples of how others have developed compelling content around unsexy products and services. Because we're going to stick with the roofing example, and we're going to talk about the fact that it's not sexy. Let me ask this. When I say the word progressive, I say progressive insurance. What's the first image that you get?
Automobile.
Say that again?
Automobile.
Automobile, okay. Anybody else?
The lady on the commercial.
There you go. You get Flo. She's in an all-white room with pure white shelves stocked with boxes of insurance products, right?
Yes.
Isn't that what it is?
Yes.
So let me ask this question. Do insurance products come in boxes? Do you shop for insurance products in a pure white store?
No.
Is there a ditzy girl at the counter when you buy your insurance products? The answer is no. Progressive has successfully created a compelling way for you to remember their products without selling. They're not talking about their insurance products. It's Flo, and she's ditzy, and they have ditzy stuff that they talk about during their commercials. They're not selling, and they're not talking about how great they are. Their message is that we offer packaged products that fit your need. And it's a creative way to get their message across without even selling a thing. Okay, to combat this effort, their biggest competitor, Geico, comes to the table. They've developed an entire campaign around their 15% savings. So when I say, can Geico really save you 15% on your car insurance, what image comes to mind? This guy?
No.
No? Okay. All right, so tell me, does this guy come to mind? This is the military guy who's posing as a psychiatrist. Or wait a minute, what about the little piggy that goes, wee, 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 wee? Okay, you get my point. Okay, they're not talking about insurance. Their message is that you can save 15%. Keep in mind there's thousands of considerations when buying insurance, whether it's car insurance or motorcycle insurance or home insurance or life insurance. There's all kinds of considerations, but they don't address any of them. In fact, they don't talk about any of those considerations at all. The message is simple. All they're trying to do is talk about the 15% savings. And they've done it, they've delivered that in a creative and an appealing way. Even though insurance is not sexy. Okay, wait a minute. There's one more. Are stocks sexy? Is the stock market sexy? Probably not. But what about those little one-year-old babies who sit in front of the computer or sit on the airplane and they carry on an adult conversation talking about E-Trade? The message is simple. The delivery is creative. My point is, even in an unsexy business, it is critical that you get involved, You begin to help others. Lend a hand. Entertain them. Come up with something fun and creative, something different than the unsexy stuff you might do. And ultimately, you will pull in the business from that activity.